Welcome back, everyone. I'm back here at the cabin, and you can see beside me, what I've decided to do is do a little bit of metal detecting around the cabin. You know, my friend Gary and I have done that here at the cabin many years ago. We literally just scratched the surface of the possibilities here. So one of the reasons why I bought this metal detector was I've also lost a knife in the woods in a bit of a clearing. So hopefully we can find that. Not entirely sure where it fell out of, our pockets and stuff, but I will try to find it and just kind of poke around here. These woods were settled by a pioneer family back in the 1800s. There was an old farm field, which I've been trying to reforest. And there's been a lot of logging done here over the years. So there's potential for lots of stuff to be found in and around here. So let's just talk about the metal detector kit that I bought. All right, so I found this online through an ad. You may recognize the name Vevor, and they make a lot of different things. I have one of their gazebos I used for camping all the way across Gaspé, and it was a really good tent, so I figured why not. So this is kind of the reason I got this was it was an all-inclusive kind of kit. So we've got a foldable metal detector, so we'll take a look at that. So I just pulled it out. It comes in a few pieces, so you can pack it up. This detector actually comes off as well, and it's waterproof, so that's cool. I can put it in the water, which is important because the little bay was actually, I think, created in 1867, so that's kind of cool. Or no, maybe it was 1967. Anyways, it was not an original water body there. The area was flooded, so I think it's like 1967. Anywho, so basically this, the unit connects here to the little monitor. So I'll do that in a second. And then it comes with other stuff too, which is really cool. It comes with a little mini shovel, and you'll see that this shovel folds down. I mean, it's not amazing. You probably want to bring your own little shovel, but it's handy because it's portable. It comes with Bluetooth headset because you will hear tones coming out of that unit there when it finds things. And then what I really liked is it came with its own pinpointer. So you've seen Gary use this in his videos. When you're kind of getting close to your target, you turn this on and this detects really, really, really close to the target. You can kind of put this on different parts of the soil and figure out, where your pop tab or your nail is that you found, or your gold coin, of course. So yeah, it came with that and the batteries for it. So that's cool. Also, speaking of batteries, it came with rechargeable batteries for the unit, for them, which I think I have left some at home in another unit. But so there's 4 of the batteries that come with it and the charger, which is great. And this is the other piece of the metal detector. So that's pretty cool. I think it was like $250, $260 plus tax for all that stuff. So I mean, it's not a professional unit, but it is going to serve me well, I think, for what I'm doing here today. Previously, when Gary and I were detecting here, I'll put the link to the video down below. We found things like square nails, which was an older kind of nail. We found, I believe it was like a buckle for like overalls or things like that. So it was pretty cool. I've also found an old trap here as well, probably used for raccoon or things like that. So that I had a video on how to restore that. So I found that kind of buried in the ground with a cedar coming through it. So I had to kind of extract it, but that was really cool. That was down right at the waterfront. So I mean, they could have even been using it for like, I don't know, muskrat or something like that as well. So anyways, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to kind of look everywhere in the property and see what I can find. From the last video I did on finding that cemetery, all these woods have a lot of history, and you can see right here, this is an original snake rail fence. Again, this all used to be field out there, so it's starting to be a forest. This used to be the edge of the field, and you can see where the collapse of the cedar snake rail fence is. There's a lot of barbed wire and stuff around here too, because there's probably like cattle and things like that. I've also found some old logging things in the woods here on some of the skid trails. So yeah, you can kind of see, oh yeah. So you may find, be really careful in these woods, barbed wire. And this is the original kind of part of the fence, but it kind of goes and snakes all the way through there. Okay, so there's the unit all set up. You can hear it kind of making those noises as it gets closer to things that are kind of metal. I think I need to put another washer in here because this is a little bit loose. No matter how hard you tighten it, it kind of wants to wobble. You see that? That's a little bit of a problem with the unit. But here it will show you, put it into different metal detecting modes. You can kind of read the manual if you're interested in this, but you can look for coins or other things. I have to learn how to use this, but I think you can kind of, jewelry, custom, you can kind of tune what you're looking for here, debris. Obviously get tired of detecting, pop cans and pieces of tinfoil and stuff like that. So you can kind of like tune that kind of out a little bit. I'm going to learn about this unit. I mean, Gary's the expert with this whole thing. You can ask him some questions. I got to ask him some very soon about this, but yeah, so it tells you basically, you know, how conductive the metal is that you're finding. And this one also kind of pinpoints depth as to how far, you know, you should be digging to look for it. So that's kind of interesting. And then we'll use the pinpointer, obviously, once we get a signal and we're kind of getting into things. Sometimes, you know, you dig out a big clod of dirt and then you detect over the dirt you dug out and you find something, but it's such a broad area that this unit is detecting that, you know, the pinpointer is helpful to kind of tap it on the soil and find out exactly, you know, you probably dug out a nail or a coin or whatever you found. It's actually a fairly light unit, which I like. And I really like that it comes with a Bluetooth headset as well. So that I'll be hearing the little tones in my ears. It should get more intense as I get closer to the object. Sometimes there's different tones for different types of metal and things like that. So that can be very helpful in distinguishing if I want to go after something or if I don't. You guys know this. This is kind of how it works, is that you wiggle this over the ground and you watch the monitor to see what you get. So you can kind of, oh, you know what? I think it's picking up on that. So you see right there, showing you how conductive the metal is. So anyway, I'm not interested in that. So I'm going to save you guys a lot of this noise and detecting, but I just want to show you guys how this all works. So in this area here, you can see there is something, and it shows you the depth. One sec. About 20 plus inches there. So then you can decide if it's really worth your while, what you see coming up in terms of the numbers, what it is, and how deep do you want to keep digging to go and find it. All right, I'm getting something kind of right here. I think it's about 10 to 15 down, so let's see what we find. So I'm digging right down here, and it is picking up on something. So right there. So let's see. This is the shovel that it came with. Oh. Maybe it's that. Here, I'll put on something metal. No. Just detecting my shovel there. Okay. Seems to be detecting on this. It was just a second ago. Well, what I have determined, unfortunately, is this pinpointer is not that great. This thing keeps just randomly kind of going off. So it's giving me some false alarms here in that hole. I mean, it does work. Like, so if I turn this on, it does its little check beeps. Like, that's fine. But, like, I don't know. Sometimes it'll just kind of randomly start going off, which is not helpful when I'm trying to figure out what's going on in this pile. I don't know if it's just detecting there's some iron in the soil, so it's like kind of freaking out. But I don't know. I shouldn't have to be turning it off and on for it to work. I may have to get a separate kind of pinpointer. Hopefully this kit's in good. I don't know. I did find a nail actually at home. It was kind of cool. But I don't know if I know Gary and I had a few false alarms out here because of the iron in the soil. Well, I've decided it must be those rocks or something like that. I cannot get this to pinpoint on anything in there, so maybe just the iron in the rocks. Well, I've determined that a lot of the rocks are detecting around, 12 to 15, even the barbed wire and stuff like that. So maybe I'll try to avoid those ones and, kind of try some other little numbers that I see come up in my unit. But I have a bigger problem right now. So this is one of two lavaliers that I have, and one of them ones, when I was recording there, fell off. I was doing a little bit more detecting throughout the woods here, and I can't find it. It's going to be impossible to find that. It's really small. It picks up at about 12 as well on this unit, so yeah, it's not going to work to find it. So anyway, it might be gone forever. I also have it on ornaments discriminate now, so it only kind of beeps and kind of pinpoints as I'm going along. I'm just checking the pathway to see if it fell off my lapel there while I was walking back to the cabin, but it's a lot nicer. You don't hear that noise all the time. So I'll just show you this area is a bit of an issue because it always detects 13, 14, 10 and around here. So it's probably the soil, the little rocks in here, you see? So I'm going to try to avoid that. But I'm also checking if it beeps for my microphone. Oh, God. All right, so now I'm going to detect the clearing area where the, thinking of putting in like a new cabin, kind of in and around here, like a little log cabin. Yeah, no dice on finding my lavalier microphone. This is the other one that came with the kit. I mean, it detects, like I said, somewhere in the 12 to 13, 14 range, and so does the soil all around here. So I don't know. I'll just have to keep my eyes out. It is what it is. Kind of unfortunate, but one of these days maybe I'll find it, or someone else doing this will find it when I'm long gone. But anyways, let's look around, see if we can find the knife. I have, again, no idea where this could be. And I don't remember what kind of metal it was. Probably like steel or something like that. So let's just take a look around here and see what we can find. All right, so this hole looked promising. And all I found was this rock that contained iron. So that's the problem around here. So no dice so far with the knife. I don't know. I'm gonna keep going, looking around. I'm gonna try for like higher numbers, see if I find anything interesting. I might go down. There's an old road down by the waterfront. I'm gonna go just see if there's anything interesting down there. Well, here's something cool. There's some cabling there, so that's right on the surface. Didn't take too long for it to pick up on that. But that was used, I think, in some logging efforts and that out here. So that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll detect a little bit around here and see if I can find anything else. And I've spared you the details, nothing else exciting around there. I think I'm gonna have to go to an area, detect where there is like kind of like a homestead or something like that. It's just like a needle in a haystack trying to find things around here, especially with like things are so overgrown. There was some things we found in the field, like I said, those nails by some of the old rock piles and stuff, because they were obviously building fences to keep the cattle beasts and that in. I could try detecting, I don't think I did on one aspect of the field along one of the cedar rail fences, although there is a high iron content in the soil there. There's not as many rocks. Like I find like in the woods here, there's like, every time it detects, there's like, literally I can feel the rock. I just poke it with a shovel and I know that's what it is. So nothing too much around above background around here. I'm gonna have to take this lots of different places to try it out and have some success for once. I must say, detecting all over, I kind of like mushroom foraging a lot better. I feel it's a little bit more rewarding. But you know what, I always forget when I started out mushroom foraging, there's a lot of, difficulty finding mushrooms, and it's just nice being out in the woods regardless of whatever you're doing, right? So let's keep looking. Speaking of mushrooms, there's a last little gyromitra down here. Let's take a look. Yeah, gyromitra esculenta. Not a morel, like a edible one that is. False morel. Well, I just got to the field to do a little bit of detecting out here. Kind of wanted to focus on a few of the little rock piles where the settlers had kind of, cleared the fields and put them, because obviously things can drop out of pockets and stuff like that. But then my detector batteries run out. So yes, that ends today's session. I've been out for a few hours. I'm kind of hungry and thirsty, and the bugs have been at me. So yeah, thanks for joining me today for the first little test of my Vevor metal detector. Sorry I didn't find anything too exciting today. I'm just starting to learn how to use it. At least I know what kind of background for rocks and iron in the soil is. It's too bad that I lost my microphone. Hopefully one of these days I do find it. And I haven't given up on the knife. It's got to be on a trail or in that clearing or somewhere. One of these days, hopefully I'll find it. All right, I'm going to fire this detector up another day, and we'll see you in that video. Bye for now. All right, me back again. So I put a few batteries in here, and I went back out to look for my microphone just before leaving the cabin today. And look what I found. Yes! So I don't even have my second microphone on. This thing is already dead battery. So it was just sitting here. Did one last pass where I had kind of gone down through here. And I found it. So I did find something today. Yes! Not what I was expecting to find. All right. Have a good week. See you in the next video. Bye.